Perfect. Now, what we're going to do is draw the analogy. This is the overarching, this is the idea of the big picture. And we're going to apply this specifically to formulas, but we're going to use hot dogs for the analogy, okay? Now, excuse me. Okay, we're going to refer to this as the big picture. Please don't say that. You'll be removed. You're not sorry. Don't say you're sorry to me either, because you're not. Stop. Okay? Here's the big picture. You guys don't do the big picture well. And if you got a little better at kind of trying to view math in the big picture, it might actually be easier. But here's the analogy, okay? Hot dogs. Please don't talk because it disturbs NASA. Okay? Okay, the hot dog is an interesting thing. Okay? So the casing of the hot dog is like sort of the big picture. And what I'm saying is that hot dogs have a lot of different things inside of them. But when you eat it, you just eat it as a hot dog. You're not worried about what's in it. Okay? Now, inside of a hot dog, okay, there's various things. Okay? What happens is, and this may offend some of you, and I'm not trying to offend you, but this is how it is. And I hope your parents tell you this, and they probably aren't, because they want you to stay nice and sweet. Okay? And I'm going to chip away at that a little bit. Inside of a hot dog are a few things. Salt, paprika, okay, excuse me, various spices. Other than those, I don't even know. Please don't, we go in the hall. Yeah. No, you can go in the hall, watch through the window. Yes, and don't be annoying, just look. Okay. Inside the hot dog is also things from the pig, if you're eating pork hot dogs, or the cow if you're eating beef hot dogs. Okay, there's fat. And, I mean, this is kind of true for hamburgers and all sorts of stuff. Okay? Fat, there's probably some organ meats in there, which actually may sound gross to you, but in the past, like our grandparents and your grandparents' grandparents, they ate organ meat. They ate the stomach. That's what bacon is. It's the fat back off of the edge of the stomach. Bacon is very good, and it's because it's fatty and it's been spiced well. Okay? There's fat, there's organ meats, there's other various tissues. Okay? But really a hot dog is just a casing encompassing all these different fabulous things. When you mix them all together, it makes a hot dog. It makes something that tastes good that you like to eat. Okay? The shape is part of the injection of all this. They basically make like this big vat of these things boiling, like a witch's brew, and then they squirt it in to a tube. Seriously, the casing is a tube. They squirt it in, and then they spin it to block the end off. Okay? So, it's like this. Okay? So you got this long casing, and in goes the witch's brew, and then they divide it off, and they chop it into individual sections, and then those sections become hot dogs. I'm not even kidding. This is really how hot dogs are made. You can watch it on TV. Okay. Now, okay. Well, you might want to consider what you're eating. Okay. Now, the hot dog is kind of like the big idea in math. That's fine. Okay? The big idea is kind of like the hot dog. All the big idea is just learning pre-algebra. So the big idea is pre-algebra. Or in the case I'm trying to make here is using the formula. So the big idea is using formulas. And inside of here is how you use formulas and some of the formulas that we need to use. So using formula idea is the hot dog. And inside of it are the things that we've been talking about. Write the formula down. Plug in. Solve using the order of operations. F is equal to 1.8c plus 32. Or P is equal to 2L plus 2W. Or area equals LW. All these different things make up the idea of using formulas. This is what I want you to learn. I don't want you to show me that you know what perimeter is. I already assume that you know that. Okay, so when you're answering your questions in the book and on the test and the things I'm asking you, I don't really want the definition of the topic that the question is about, perhaps, like perimeter. I want you to use the formula for perimeter to find perimeter. And that's what the directions will tell you. So when the directions say use the formula, that's the big idea. The formula itself is not the big idea. And the concept that the formula is about is also not the big idea. Using formula is the big idea. Okay? Formula is like the hot dog. And all the things inside the hot dog is what makes the hot dog yummy and tasty. Same with this. Using formulas is the idea. That's like the analogy is that's the hot dog. All the things that we're learning about and applying make using formulas nice and tasty. Like the organ meats and all the things inside the hot dog that make it tasty. Okay, and just if you don't know, an analogy is when you use something that you're kind of familiar with and you kind of get the same general idea about something you may not be so familiar with, like using formulas. You can kind of relate those things together. Okay, so like here you have the hot dog, which is paprika and spices and organ meats, intestines, stomach, brains, eyes. Okay, tissue, like muscle tissue, like, you know, when you eat a steak, you're eating some of the tissue of the cow. They put that in there. Or like a pork chop, they put that in there. I also put fat in it. Okay, like you have fat on your belly. Right? I have fat on my belly. If they turned me into a hamburger, that fat would be a part of it. That's what makes hamburgers taste good. It's fat. It's not the beef. You know how everybody loves McDonald's? Those hamburgers are like half fat. Okay, that's why they make you fat when you eat a bunch of them. Okay? But we're moving away from the point. The point is hot dog, and then the analogy of this particular lesson is using formulas. That's the overarching thing. That's the hot dog. And you got to eat and put all the other stuff inside of it to make it happen. That was pretty good.